Playoff scenarios, best bets, sides, totals, analysis coming your way in MLB. Coming down the home stretch here, folks. How do we make some money betting these playoff situations? That's what you're here to find out. Joining me today, I got two of the best in the biz here talking MLB. Ross Benjamin, Jesse Schule, whether they're catching on the gridiron or on the diamond for the clients, they're just happy to keep making you some money. We're going to give you some free sides and total analysis here for you. We're going to talk Mets, Braves, the Reds versus the Guardians. We're going to get into some of these other games with playoff implications around them. Do we fade the clinchers? Orioles, Yankees, we'll talk. Rays, Tigers, Astros, Mariners, and then to end the show, we got best bets coming your way. We'll talk Padres and Dodgers, an angle there from Ross Benjamin, and Jesse Schule have a best bet for you in the San Francisco Giants taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Guys, let's get right into it because, I teed up the games. We have a lot to get into here for the folks. While you're hanging out with us, hit that like button, subscribe. The little bell will keep you notified whenever we're going live here. If you're joining us on social, that follow button, we would appreciate that if you hit that as well. Keep your comments coming all show long. Ross, Mets, and the Bravos. As far as the playoff implications are concerned, this series is absolutely huge because it's impacting three different teams, right? Obviously, the two teams who are facing off against each other, but as I alluded to there, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who might be staring down the barrel of getting swept today. We'll talk about that game a little later. But as far as this one's concerned, you think the Braves continue, making up a little ground, getting some separation because they're sending Chris Sale to the mound, and you're going to be hard-pressed to find someone who's been as hot as him in recent form here. So how do you see Mets and Bravos shaking out?
What jumps out at me is the total only being 7.5. A lot of that has to do with Chris Sale, right? But both of these teams have been red hot offensively, yet it's that low number. So to me, the first thing I want to look at is the total, and that's what I'm going to cover here. I mean, you look at David Peterson coming off a shaky outing, but he's pitched very well on the road this year. He's a 2.86 ERA and 8-3 team starts on the road this year, meaning his 11 starts on the road, the Mets have gone 8-3, and his 2.86 ERA has a lot to do with that. And then you mentioned how red hot Sale has been. I mean, he's been absolutely lights out over his last 5 starts, allowing just 4 earned runs over 30 innings pitched. The Atlanta bullpen has been solid with a 2.35 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP over the last 7. The Mets bullpen, a 1.19 WHIP over their last 7, which is very good. I'm going to go under here. It's probably going to be in the minority when it comes to betting on the total in this game, which I would assume the majority of public, even though Sale is pitching with the offensive prowess of both teams, it's really tempting to go over the total of 7.5, but I'm going to go under 7.5. A pair of southpaws get it done tonight, and the bullpens perform the way they've been over the last 7 games.
Yeah, and with playoff implications inbound, maybe clinching the bats a little bit tighter as they're aiming to clinch a postseason run here. Great breakdown there from Ross Benjamin. Hop below in the comments. Let us know which some of these games you're eyeing and what some of your best bets are. The guys will have theirs coming up here in just a few. But Jesse, let's talk another series here with the Reds and the Cleveland Guardians, because in the case of the Guardians, it's more kind of figuring out what they do come postseason, right? They're already locked in. They're good to go. Signed, sealed, delivered over a week ago for them. And now they're trying to figure out what's that rotation going to look like as they're heading on into the postseason. They're going to get some questions answered as they're looking for a sweep here today in just a little 2-game set, going with rookie Joey Cantillo heading to the bump. So trying to find out what they have in that as far as it's concerned for the rotation moving forward here. How do you see this one shaking out, though? Is it going to be all roses there for the rookie, or you think maybe a bit of a struggle as they try and figure out that rotation?
Well, Dan, you mentioned at the top of the show, should you fade the clinchers? And Cleveland has had the division wrapped up for a while, but officially they clinched the first round bye with the win last night. I'm going to fade Cleveland coming off that clinching win. I'm going to look at Cincinnati as the dog here. I had Chicago against your Phillies in a similar situation yesterday. And another thing that was similar about that game is Justin Steele was supposed to be the starter in the previous game where the Phillies clinched, and then they pushed him back, and he started yesterday, and Chicago got the win. The same goes for Jacob Junis, who was pushed back. He was supposed to be the starter yesterday. Yep. He will go for the Reds today, and he's been pretty dominant in his last 5 appearances, posting an ERA of 1.14. He doesn't go deep into ball games, and then we get into the bullpens. But with Cleveland clinching, I expect a lot of guys to be rather lackadaisical. Maybe they had a few pops last night. Maybe they rest some guys. Nothing to prove for the Guardians here. Time to have some fun for the Reds. Bit of a pitching mismatch. Joey Cantillo, 2-3 with a 4.69 ERA in 7 starts. He's not a guy that they think too highly of. I mean, he's probably not going to go too many innings either. At the end of the day, I think the value is on the underdog here in the Cincinnati Reds. I'm looking at the run line. It's a little bit pricey, so I might split my bet between the run line and the money line.
Couple of root beers for the fellas, says Jesse Schule, looking for the fade spot there. Well, it perfectly ties into, and I guess, Ross, as we're here, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. on the West Coast. I don't want to go into this game too in depth since the WagerTalk live odds screen is still showing me that the Yankees are undecided as far as their pitcher is concerned. I'll see if I can find any update. On the other side, it's going to be Zach Eflin, but the Yankees are going to get shot too at clinching in their AL East title, and they're going to get chance to against a team whose clubhouse probably still reeks of soda pop, as Jesse Schule was alluding to there, as they were partying a bit last night, playing a little bit of spoiler. So the Yankees primed for a potential clinching game of their own. They're forced to wait another day for New York fans. And again, I'm not seeing who the starting pitcher is, but you have to think if we're, fading the partying teams, and it's been a profitable angle this year, especially, is that the way that you would look? The Yankees finally getting it done. The O's a little bit of a letdown spot after the raucous evening last night.
Well, you scared me a little bit because you mentioned it's 11 a.m. and then you followed up Jesse's having pops because they're celebrating. Jesse has pops and celebrates when his hat falls off. So, the bottom line is, there's no way at 11 a.m. I'm having pops. So, and getting back to the matter at hand. That undecided guy's, a little bit of an enigma, right? Trying to figure that out. But I would say that the Yankees are going to try to do this bullpen by committee with the expanded rosters right now. But having said that, the Yankees are still playing for something like Cleveland. They're still playing for the number 1 overall seed in the American League. They do, I believe, have a 1.5 lead over Cleveland. So I know that's the least of these teams' concerns at this point, but there's still a little bit to play for there. And this is a game, look, it's too much unknown going into this game. I have a hard time taking Baltimore right now, the way they've played over the last quarter of the season. Mm-hmm. And again, without knowing who the Yankees starting pitcher is going to be, I just can't pull it. I don't have an opinion on this game. Weak, strong, or just a guess. I wouldn't venture in any of those directions.
Yeah, and once you know the starting pitching, all right, you can start handicapping it maybe a little bit better. If you're going by the Yankees site, it says probable pitcher, you're looking at Nestor Cortez. But again, as Ross said, you could just be looking at trotting out a bullpen game there. So definitely, I would wait on that one. I don't think you're going to get maybe 5-10 cents of a line move once they name the starter. So I think it would be worthwhile having that information locked in before you're putting a wager on that. Hop below in the comments. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree, or if you already fired on that game and are saying, yeah, it stinks like beer over there on the O's side. I'm going the other way. I don't care who's tossing the rock. Jesse, for you, if you'd love to give any thoughts on that one, but again, I think it's something that you wait on. If not, would love to hear your thoughts on the Rays and the Tigers, because I know the Detroit office, they got eyes on this game, because all of a sudden you got the Detroit Tigers tied with the Kansas City Royals in the second and third wild card races. They're looking ahead of the Minnesota Twins, 2.5 ahead of the Seattle Mariners. So a team that back in August, I mean, they were dead. Talking, a month ago, around August 11th, I think it was like 0.2% that they had a chance of making the playoffs. And the Detroit Tigers, like that Undertaker meme, just rising out of the casket, all of a sudden are alive as they're opposing the Rays here today. So what? Any thoughts for you in this Rays and Tigers set?
Well, there's no way I'm stepping in front of the Detroit Tigers right now, the way they're playing. You look at the starting pitching matchup, it would seem to favor Tampa Bay. Little has been lights out for Tampa Bay in his last few starts. And Montero, the guy's been, average at best, let's say. I mean, capable enough that I couldn't talk anybody off of betting on the Tigers either. But I'd actually look at the total. I thought I saw some 8s on the board. Certainly if you could get an 8, under 8 would be a good bet. Even at 7.5. I mean, this is a huge game for Detroit. Like you said, clutching the bats extra tight. They're facing a pitcher who's been pretty good lately. What was it, a 2-1 game last night? And that was a 2-1 game where it was 2-0 heading into the top of the ninth, and a run was scored late. I could see another tight playoff-style game here tonight. I would think the under would be the best bet for this game.
David Talk also will circle back here just quick to that Yankees game. Great comment. Appreciate you guys in the comments. Shout out to you, FB coach David Talk. Paco Healy in the house celebrating a little Padres triple play action yesterday. Congrats to you, man. But David Talk pointing out on DraftKings, they are seeing Cortez listed as far as the Yankees pitching is concerned. So that probable pitcher looking like that is more and more likely by the moment. Keep those comments coming, though, folks. Would love to hear what your best bets are tonight. We have those coming up. Padres and Dodgers. You want to stick around for that one, Paco, and we'll talk Giants and D-backs as well. We'll hit on one more game here before we circle back for the guys' best bets. Astros and Mariners, talking another fade the clincher angle for this one. And I'm wondering, Ross, anything jump out to you? Because not only do you have a fade the Astros potential angle, you also have a Mariners team who I just alluded to. They need games like blood right now, and they still have plenty to play for here at the end of the year. So you got a team who was celebrating into the wee hours of the last night with the soda pops with the fellas, and you got a Mariners team who's probably just pissed off that they weren't the ones getting to celebrate this as they're rolling down the end of the season. So Astros and Mariners, I think, again, do we just keep backing that angle because it's worked out well here? Is that the way you would look?
Actually, I'd look at the total in this game. First of all, it's a day game. Second of all, I like George Kirby a lot more at home than on the road. And Kikuchi has shown a vulnerability over the last couple of years, specifically this year, of giving up the long ball. You're getting a number of 7 right now in this game. So I think that would be very enticing to go over that number. And you look at, Kirby on the road this year is a 4.03 ERA. Not terrible, but Dan, it's at home. He's been unbelievable. I mean, his ERA is somewhere around 2 at home, and his WHIP under 1. So there's a bit of a difference between his home and away splits. And again, keep in mind, we're talking about a total of 7. And we're talking about Kikuchi. Like I said, he's been very vulnerable to giving up home runs. And over his last 3 starts, he's given up 4 home runs in 19 innings pitched. and he's given up 25 home runs on the year. So I think we'll see a long ball or two from Seattle along the way here. And I also think that George Kirby will give up a few of his own. And neither one of these bullpens are terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Because of the low number, I just have to go over the total here.
Yeah, and this one going at 210, as Ross pointed out there, the lone early game on the card. So, Jesse, before we talk best bets here, I mean, hangovers hit a little bit earlier as well for some of these partying teams. You like there to be runs in this one as well, or do you have any opinion maybe on the side on the lone early game on the slate for some of the live viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather look at the side, and you look at Seattle, how bad they've played in the second half of the season. It's hard to want to really put your money on Seattle here, but if you're going to fade the clinchers, you got to fade them all if that's your strategy. True. And I would like to pose a question to Mr. Ross Benjamin. I mean, you got a Seattle team that's been one of the worst in the second half of the season. You got a Houston team that's been one of the best in the second half of the season. Houston's at home. Their pitcher has been decent lately, and you see Seattle as a minus 140 road favorite. Ross, do you think the bookmakers are trying to tell you something here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to tell you that the team on the road is going to be the more urgent and desperate team. But that doesn't always mean it's a sure winner. But and sober. I mean, again, you guys. I mean, I got to have a couple drinks with you guys, and then we'll really discuss things. Anyway. Yeah, Jesse, good point. And I think that I'm wearing off on you after a couple of years where you see a line that really jumps out at you. And I mean, this begs you to take the home underdog Houston Astros specifically for the reasons that Jesse just said. And the thing that bothers me about Seattle too, I mean, I mentioned both bullpens are far from horrible, but Houston's bullpen, over the last 7 games, a 7.84 ERA and a 170 WHIP. So again, that goes hand in hand with my totals pick. But what Jesse just mentioned is a very good teaching point for the viewers out there. When you see something that looks too good to be true when it comes to sports betting, more times than not it is. So,
yeah. There's a reason why you never see a burnt out bulb in the sports book. The carpets are always really nice and clean. It's pretty nice in there because they kind of know what they're doing. It's not like they're exactly handing out free money. So sometimes you will get some of those lines that cash when they're too good to be true. But if it's fishy for a reason. Maybe you dive in a little bit more. That's Ross Benjamin and Jesse Schule. You can check them out at WagerTalk.com. WT.buzz/deals will get you the latest and greatest ways to save as you're checking out some of these handicappers, whether you're buying day passes, week passes, looking more long-term, the approach that we're always preaching here for you. Let's give the folks what they came for, though. Some free best bets. Ross, let folks know what you have over at your page. WT.buzz/RB is where you can find them. And the Padres and Dodgers. I know Paco Healy was partying last night with his Padres getting the dub there. If we, again, keep that fade the clincher theory, that means it's a Dodgers play, and it's not hard to talk people into backing the Dodgers recently. That's for sure, and especially when you think about the dramatic way in which the Padres got that done last night. So best bet for you comes in this game, but what do you have up for the clients over at your page?
Well, last night I had a premium pick. Paco, I was with you, and I was partying, triple play in the 9th inning. Nice, huh? And we pull out a 4-2 win, and I had the Padres plus 106 with my premium pick. So, again, I'll have a couple more Major League Baseball premium picks up shortly at the site. College football right now, since the start of last year, Dan, number 1 in money earned at WagerTalk. 8-1 the last 2 Saturdays in college football, 74-40. Since September 9th of last year, which is 60%, and a net profit by our grading system of over $4,900. So best bets, a little bit of a slump. of late, but still 26-13, 67% on my 5% best bet since February 4th. NFL and college football combined, I was number 2 in money earned last year, coming off a terrible week with my premium picks in the NFL. But folks, if you followed the free pick videos in the NFL last week, I went 5-0. So sometimes it's not an exact science. All right, Padres and the Dodgers. Look, Jack Flaherty, I thought he was a tremendous pickup by the Dodgers when they got him from Detroit. And the first half of the year, this guy was lights out. It concerns me he's been a little bit erratic down the final stretch of the regular season. As a matter of fact, over his last 2, 9 innings pitched and 7 earned runs allowed. And also, he's going to be facing a Padres team, 46-30 on the road, which is a very good road record. And actually, if you take away maybe the first quarter of the road games, it's even better than that. They're going to go with Dylan Cease, meaning the Padres. 2 starts, he's been terrific. 14 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He's been consistently good all season long. The Padres bullpen, a 2.57 ERA over the last 7. And the Dodgers bullpen, if Flaherty continues to pitch at the rate he's pitched the last 2 starts, they're going to come into play in their ERA right now, 4.79, not real good over the last 7. Don't look now, but the Padres are just 2 games behind the LA Dodgers for the NL West lead. So it's not only about fading a clincher, it's about a team that's still mathematically, very mathematically alive for a division title here. So I think more pressure is going to be on the Dodgers since they have had a comfortable lead for the majority of the season. And now they find themselves in the final week of the season only up 2 games against the team they're facing tonight. So I'm going to go with San Diego here as a money line underdog of plus 115.
If you listen really closely, you can hear our man Paco fist bump into the air. He's like, what? I get that fun game last night, and Ross Benjamin is saying I get plus money on my Padres tonight. That's the best bet for free right here from Ross Benjamin. You can check out his page, wt.buzz/RB. While you're hanging out, hit that like button and subscribe. If you're over on the social media channels, Instagram, X, and TikTok, hit that follow button. Keep those comments coming. We do appreciate it. All right, Jesse, for you, man, like the hottest team in baseball is the team that has nothing to play for. And it's the San Francisco Giants as they're taking on the Diamondbacks. I don't know if in this series the offenses just completely flipped what uniforms they're wearing. 8 home runs over the first 2 games of this series. Now the San Francisco Giants are aiming for the sweep. And we, alluded to pricing maybe being a telling of what's too good to be true. Well, the pricing says with Zach Gallen on the bump, over a $2.25 favorite that you're seeing for the Arizona Diamondbacks to not get swept. I don't know, man. With how San Francisco's playing and with house money and all the pressure on the D-backs as that race continues to tighten, that price doesn't make sense to me there. So how about you, and what do you have locked and loaded over at your page?
Yeah, I got a 3-pack of MLB up for sale tonight, and sitting pretty at the number 1 spot on the leaderboards the last 30 days with baseball. I probably should be happier about that than I am. I'd rather be on the college football leaderboards, but I'll take it. You gotta be good at something, I guess. But we'll get up there on the leaderboards with college football and NFL a little later in the season. But as far as baseball goes, we're feeling it right now. But Arizona is the huge favorite here. Must-win game, half a game up on Atlanta for the final wild card spot. But baseball is not exactly a sport where must-win really is the be-all and end-all. I mean, you can have as much effort as you want. It comes down to who's pitching, who's in a groove. And San Francisco is the hottest team in baseball right now. They come in as winners of 7 of their last 8. And you look at these teams that are facing must-win games. I mean, Kansas City's faced 8 must-win games in a row. They've lost 7 of them. Minnesota has lost 3 must-win games in a row. Seattle continues to lose must-win games. The teams that are fighting for these wild card spots are choking because probably the moment's too big for them. Like you said, they're gripping that bat too tight. Arizona's got the race going tonight. Zach Gallen. I like Gallen. I like betting on Gallen in spots like this, but against a San Francisco team that's clearly the better team the past 7 to 10 days. You look at Gallen's career numbers against San Francisco, pretty pedestrian, 5-5 with a 4.19 ERA in 15 career starts. That doesn't warrant a price of $225. Mason Black, a guy that's got terrible numbers on the season, but he's only allowed 2 runs in 9 2/3 innings in his last 2 starts. His most recent start, he tossed 5 2/3 scoreless against a Kansas City team that was in a must-win situation. So all that to me points toward the dog, and I will take San Francisco on the run line plus 1.5 at a very reasonable price, close to a pick'em. There's no way I'm stepping in front of the hot team here.
And getting a 1.5 with that red hot team. The free best bet there for my man Jesse Schule. WT.buzz/JS is where you can check out the premium plays. Ross Benjamin going with the Padres money line. Hop below in the comments. Let us know what your best bets are this evening. If you're watching on the rewatch, keep those comments coming below. We'll be chopping it up with you through the baseball slate today. And if you're hanging out with us live here, don't go anywhere because 30 minutes from now, Wager Talk Today coming your way. Ralph Michaels on there. Jesse Schule playing a doubleheader. He's going to be talking some of that college football for you. And Teddy Covers making his triumphant return to the program, bringing back some decorum to the show. Prez was running wild yesterday. What will happen today? You're gonna have to tune in 30 minutes from now to find out. Also, make sure you're subscribed because Bet On It's going live tonight. College football and NFL, the flagship program. So check that out. Wager Talk TV. Big thanks to Ross. Big thanks to Jesse. Big thanks to you taking part of your day to check us out here on First Pitch. 2 shows left, folks. We'll be locked and loaded for a Thursday and Friday edition, ringing out the regular season with you. And we look forward to chopping it up with you the next 2 days here. Until then, best of luck, folks. Check out the video on your screen right now to keep getting all that info you need to cash on all the sports you love. Cash those tickets, folks, and we'll see you back here for First Pitch, 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow.